let's talk about your definition of home and what home means to you and how that's evolved over time from when you were younger till now. How is that? What's that word mean to you, home?
Yeah, home, gosh, even still, I move a lot. And, maybe that's because of my childhood and constantly moving. It's just this feeling of wanting something new, wanting something different, cleaning up, moving, packing. I'm hopeful that we've settled down, a little bit for that. But, home is where I feel like people are welcome, that I'm proud to have people over, that if you've come to my home, probably one of the things I've said is, my home is open. You can go anywhere in this house. There's no secrets or anything. There's nothing hidden. There's nothing that you can't go look at or find. That my home is open, and I'm unashamed and open and happy to have people over, and that it's a safe, clean place for my friends, my family, my children, their friends. I've always had this desire that my kids would have a home that they could have their friends over and be safe in. And so I have that.
Have any of your relationships, whether it's with your kids, family, husband, children, shifted what you value in home?
Nothing's given to us. Everything we have and everything we do is really hard earned, and it's stressful, but it's worth the time and effort when you can come home to a place that that your kids could have a friend over at any time and they're welcome into the home.
And since we're somewhat talking about real estate, but more getting to know you, tell me, going through the divorce, you don't have to get into a ton of details, but going through the divorce and having to sell a home through that process and make a move, can you just speak to your experience going through that and some things that you might have done differently and through that process, and somebody that may be going through the same thing, maybe speak to them and give them some advice?
Yeah. Well, we sold my first marriage came to an end right after 2020 began, and everybody knows what happened in 2020. And so going through that process during that time, and then also going through the sale of a home was a lot emotionally. But sometimes you just have to make moves and make decisions, and it's hard and it's scary. But I was acting on what I knew needed to happen, not just for me, but for my ex-husband and for my kids. And as tough it is for change and divorce and selling a home that you worked so hard to get, good things can come of it for both sides. And I think that we're definitely all in a better place, from that. But selling a home is hard, and sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's rewarding. And some of the things that I learned having a husband now that's a real estate agent, I wish I would have known him, although it probably wouldn't have worked out very well had I. But I wish I would have known him when I was selling my homes before. Knowing that there is a bigger opportunity for negotiation was never brought into the transactions that I had working with real estate agents before, in the purchases and sales of the homes that I had before meeting Andre. And so knowing that there are opportunities for real estate agents to really work on the behalf of the client and not just sit back and let a transaction unfold and happen. Knowing that I had the opportunity to work with a real estate agent that had that same mindset, that works harder for the client, goes above and beyond, fights, a little bit differently, negotiates better. Man, that's something that I definitely wished I would have had the first few sales that I had. Andre works really hard, and I see now the effort, and there's a lot of work, and I'm not saying all real estate agents don't put in the work that Andre does. There's a lot that do, but seeing the amount of work that goes behind a real estate transaction, it's not just sticking a sign in the front yard and taking a couple of pictures and throwing them on on a website. There's a lot more that goes into the paperwork, the documentation, the negotiating, the structure, the business part, the procurement of the clients, keeping the clients happy, satisfaction, all of that. There's a lot to it. And I just wish I would have known then what I know now about real estate. I think it would have been a different experience for sure.
How do you think your experience might have changed? So if you could go back to the person that you were in 2020 and specific to your real estate transaction, say, here's some stuff that's going to help you through this process that's extremely emotional, very volatile, very difficult, but this is something that you can do to make your life easier, at least in this aspect. What would you tell her?
Probably slow down a little bit. We felt so much pressure and worry about getting the home sold in a time frame and it all happening. And I see Andre do this a lot with families that are under duress or, have time frames. Don't react so much to the very first thing or the best offer, because it doesn't always mean that is the best offer. If I could slow down, or if I could tell myself then, slow down and really look, we did not understand a lot of the offers that were presented to us because we had a cash offer and we had all these other offers, and we would have and could have and should have netted more from the sale of our home had we negotiated and leveraged those people against each other. And it just wasn't something that was brought into our transaction whatsoever. And so if I could go back and say anything, it would be slow down and really compare and use, we had, 8, 9, 10, 11 or something, a lot of offers within 24 hours, I think, or 48 hours of our home going up for sale. It was 5 acres in Bonnie Lake. And it was a great home. And so, yeah, we had a ton of offers and we did nothing but just cherry pick.
Moving on to your current chapter in life, where you are now, where do you live now and how did you end up here?
Gosh, I'm in Bonnie Lake. Super happy. That's where I love to be. Bonnie Lake is another place when I think of like home and my dad's house, in Burien. Bonnie Lake is another place where I feel at home, and my step-grandparents live on Lake Tapps and grew up coming out to their home, jet skiing and water skiing and boating and barbecues on the water. And I remember like floating in Lake Tapps and looking back at their house on the water and just thinking, gosh, I would love this someday for my family, for my kids. Like I desired it. And I don't think it's wrong to, covet or desire somebody else's life as long as it doesn't consume you, but to have aspirations and goals and see something that you want and work hard for it. I didn't expect it to be given to me by any means, but to want it, to desire better is okay, I think, as long as it's reasonable.
What does this home that you're in now represent to you at your stage in life?
Accomplishment. Yeah, accomplishment. The light, one of the lights that, I was feeling and seeing and desiring is definitely here in this house. I love it. Could it be on Lake Tapps? Absolutely. There's still goals to be had. But it's steps, it's buying up. It's buying this to get to this. And then it's to get to this, to get there. And this is just another step.
If you could give your younger self advice about finding or creating a home, what would that be?
Just, I guess, wait for it. Wait for it to open.
Well, you talked a little bit about this too, that you've worked with a real estate agent before. Get more into detail about what was that experience like for you?
The first agent that we found was doing an open house, and so we walked in and he was there showing a house that we were interested in Ording. And then he said, oh, we got some other houses across town. You want to go look at them? And sure, we just fell right into place, and he showed us some houses and we just went with him. I've known a lot of real estate agents over time in networking and business. I've met lots of different people and different personalities and whatnot. And it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of times where I hear Andre talking to people and they're like, well, my cousin's a real estate agent, or my sister-in-law, or my neighbor, best friend, whoever is a real estate agent. And I never had the desire to really work with anybody that I had to like talk to at barbecues or family picnics or whatever. Because I do have real estate agents that I know in that, spectrum. I never wanted to work with a real estate agent that I would have to like hang out with all the time or see. And I don't know why. It was like such a personal transaction. When you're buying or selling a house, you're really getting into your finances and being very vulnerable about what you have going on, your debt, your income, wages, all of that. And so I just never felt really comfortable sharing a lot of that information with somebody that I knew in any kind of personal, aspect. So I always liked just working with just the random.
Well, what were your experiences like working with those agents?
Yeah, it felt transactional. It felt like a real estate sign in the driveway and photos on the MLS.
And what would you say were the most important factors that let me rephrase this. What were the most important factors when buying or selling a home?
I think probably both times that I sold homes before working with Andre, and marrying him, it was time. We were under time. When we sold our home in Ording, we needed to move to Bonnie Lake to get into the school district so our kids could start school in the Bonnie Lake School District for their programs that they offered. And then the second home was divorce and getting that all squared away and taken care of in a certain time frame. So both times it was a matter of time for me.
Do you believe that a home can shape your future? Why or why not?
Oh, 100%. Every home. And that's funny because as much as I love a home, I'm not tied to the home. There's so many people that are like, oh, it's my home, I can't let it go. I don't get it. I don't get the sentimental value to a home. It is a home. It's an asset. It is a place that you want to feel comfortable and love. But gosh, it should not be your life deciding factor always. Like, I can't move because my stuff, or I can't move because my kids once lived here. Like, your kids probably don't care that much about that. They want to see mom and dad happy or taken care of. So real estate to me is like, I'm happy that I have a home that's beautiful, but if I needed to sell this home next week, absolutely I would, because this doesn't define family. This home doesn't define relationships. This home doesn't define my future. This is a stepping stone for what needs to come next, whatever that looks like. I can't predict future, and so I will not go down based on a home, keeping it or staying in it,
What do you think people often overlook when they're buying or selling a home?
Often overlook in buying or selling a home. That I think that it just can be done. That I think some people, again, kind of going off what I was just saying, that they live in this fear of, oh gosh, I can't pack all this stuff or do all this stuff. You can just go to Home Depot, buy the boxes, get some color coordinating tape, label your boxes. Don't let that stop you. A lot of people, I think, like the idea or want or have a need to make a move, and just have excuses not to. So don't let that. If you need to make a move, whether it's because you're aging, you need to downsize, the stairs are too hard. Like, gosh, I see so many families working with seniors where they hold on for so long and then they get hurt because they fall down the stairs, or their yard's not being kept up and they're not proud of that anymore. Like, why hold on to all of that? Just let that go and move on. brighter, better things usually out there for you if you just are willing to accept it.
What's the most important thing someone should feel when they walk into a home?
Well, I don't know for everybody, but for me, it's, what I've talked about, peace and light and brightness and happiness and safety. Safety is a huge thing for me. So yeah, that's mine, but I don't know if that's for everybody.
Couple more questions. Is that okay?
Oh, good. Yeah.
All right. When you hear the word home today, what does that make you feel?
Home today is where I see my family gathering week after week. Doesn't mean it's forever. It just means that this is where it is right now. Yeah.
How has your life story shaped your view of home ownership?
I don't know, like, own a home. Be risky. Be scared. Be vulnerable. Take advantage of the opportunity. Don't wait. Just do it. Don't be scared. I'd rather go broke having a home than go broke giving somebody else all of my money and still be broke. I would rather know that I tried and put it all in and had a home that I tried out for, to work, than not have a home and never have that for my family.
This is the last one, but it's a fun one.
Oh, good.
If you could design the perfect home for your next chapter in life, what would that look like?
Got it. Lake Taps. Like, I would love, I just saw this custom built home on Lake Taps the other day, and I reached out to them and told them what a great job they did. I was a kid, and we would ride on a boat with my grandma and grandpa around Lake Taps. It was like we would go on the tour to go find the mansions, because the lake was mostly like travel trailers. Like, it was RV travel trailers, like with little decks with a trailer and like a little carport canopy thing, like lot after lot after lot on Lake Taps. And they were trailers, and I thought, I want to buy that and hold on to it and then tear that down and build that home on the lake someday.